Hello and welcome back yet again to another 12 Days of Christmas. And I've changed things around slightly because there was supposed to be another one today, but you can get to see that tomorrow instead, because I've just done this quick one because everybody wanted to see what how I made the poinsettia because it was a little bit different. And so subsequently, that's what we're doing today. A quick video to show you a different way of making the poinsettia. So I have got the John Next Door Classic Poinsettia die. That is this. And I'm using a piece of coconut white card. You could use any card. But I prefer this one because it's sort of slightly off-white. It's not cream, it's just off-white. Just going to bring in a piece of white card so that you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? It's not very different, but it's just enough. It's a 240 GSM. I find that is just about right because I want to wet the card and I don't want to get it. I've got some special paper that's lovely for making flowers, but actually it's a bit dodgy on making this one because it's just a bit too thin. So without further ado, let us just chop that about. So I'm just going to place that onto my piece of card. Tape that into place, just making sure that all the flowers are included in it, and then run that through my die cutting machine. So just do that. So I have made up one, well, half made up one, because these really, I'm going to put some water on them and they really need to dry. So I think it's best that I actually do that. So let me just check if this has come out okay. Hold on. Hold on. I didn't want to play, so let's just do that again. Yeah, so I have made up one before. I've chosen the colours or the colour antique linen. I've seen this on sort of other videos and people use different colours. And, hold on a second, you too can obviously use different colours. The technique is not new at all, but I prefer the antique linen. I have tried some others, and I also like using the green one, Shabby Shutters, I think Bundled Sage. I like to use that one as well, but not today. So there's my die all cut out. So we've got all those different sizes. I'm not going to use these two smaller ones here today, so I'm just going to concentrate on those. And I'm going to bring in a scrap bit of paper. So first of all, I'm going to colour them a little bit. So I'm going to take my antique linen and I'm going to take a sponge dauber to pick up a little bit of ink and then start off in the middle and just gently put that colour on. So not masses, and I'm not really rubbing hard because I don't want to catch the fibres of the card and then sort of twist it. So just almost tickling it. So just rubbing that and just starting off in the middle but going out from the middle. So starting off in the middle and then just going out sort of about halfway and just blending that in. So I've used this colour because I'm going to use the gold, but if you were going to use different colours, you know, a light grey might be nice, weathered wood might be nice if you were going to do a silver card. So all of them will look a little bit different. So I'm then going to turn them over the other way like that, and I'm going to give them a little spritz of water. Just let that a second to soak in a little bit, and then I've got a piece of kitchen towel which I'm then going to turn the other way just to soak off that water, because I don't want masses of it. I want it to be a little bit drier. Okay, I'm just going to pat that down there, and then I'm going to take my moulding mat, and I'm going to use these embossing tools, and this one first, which is the much thinner one. So I'm going to take my flower and I'm going to turn it over so that I'm working on the back of it, and I'm just going to, as such, draw a line in the centre and then 2 little veins. So start at the tip, pull it down as if I'm drawing a line in the centre, and 2 little veins. And again, just do that please. And I'm just going to pull that down into there, and then this final one into here. Okay, so then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm just going to give it a bit of a tickle in the middle. Now hopefully you can see that it's a very subtle colour in there, because we don't want too much colour. That's just how we want it. So I'm just going to do this one, so these are all the same. So just 1 second. Banging and crashing and goodness knows what, you know what the staff are like. Just going to bring this here, so I'm just doing the same on each one, starting at the outer tip, and I'm using a moulding mat for it so that I've got something to press into, but that's not too hard nor too soft, and that's why I find the moulding mats are ideal for making flowers. Just tickle that in the middle, and then we're doing this one, and that's again just pulling that from the centre so it just curls it up a bit, but by pushing down I'm going to give it that sort of vein look, which is really quite nice. And then just one more, which is the smaller one. So I'm not going to use the smallest ones on here. I'm just going to use the first 4 sizes. So it cuts out 6, but I want to use the first 4. Now, we need to then make a hole through each of these. Okay, so what I would suggest though, however, is that these are the ones that I've obviously just done, but I have made another set and let them dry, because if we're going to make a hole and it's damp, we're going to have problems, potentially problems. It rips, the paper rips that much easier, so I'm going to do it the other way around. Now, before I do, hopefully you can see that vein sort of shape on there, which I think is rather yummy. So I'm just going to pop them to one side for the minute and bring in the set that I did earlier. So I've got these. So then I'm going to take my pokey tool. Seem to be left with just this one at the moment, and I'm just going to make a hole in the middle of all of them so I can push into my moulding mat and make that hole. Okay, so I've got a small hole in between all of them. Then I'm going to get some stamens. Now these are different stamens. These are just plain with sort of on, they're not wired. I would like wired, that's what I would prefer, but I'm afraid I just can't get those. So these are just the ordinary cheapish ones, and I've just got, just going to take 2 of each. So 2 of the whites and 2 of the sort of pinky colours, which have just been coloured with one of the other inks, so nothing special. I've then got myself a piece of florist wire. If you've got any, if you're into bead making or anything like that, it's ideal. And then I will put that in the middle, and then just fold these in half and bring that wire down so that that's actually holding them. And give that a bit of a twist so that I've got that there. So then I'm going to take my smallest one first, feed my bit of wire through, and then I can just gently pull this through the hole just a little bit. Just want to, perhaps I should have only used a few. Okay, so I've just pulled them through just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to get my glue gun, and I've got my glue gun that is my precision one for this, and I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in the centre there, and then just fold that up a little bit so that it's got a little bit of a cover there. Just hold that together whilst that sets a little bit, like that, and then we've got our first flower. So then we're going to go up with our next size. Using the wire, we can easily thread that through. And just tease that in. And then I'm going to put a bit of glue just on that flower there, behind the first flower, so that I'm then going to bring that up and then just hold that onto there. And then I'm just going to make that hole a little bit bigger, I think, before I actually bring it through, because it might be easier to do it like that. Obviously, with this, we're going to be using the mini poinsettias as well. So, but you could do some flowers that are that size and then add, you know, that could be one flower done, or then you could then, for some more flowers, make a different sizes, you could add then the next size. So it all varies. So a little bit of glue behind that first one again, so that we've got something for the next layer to stick onto. And I'm moving the petals around slightly like that, so that they are just poking through, and then I'm just pushing that from the other side so that it's sticking onto that glue there. And then finally the last one, and again popping that bit of glue behind just a little bit, pulling that through, and then just making sure that they are on the other side there. Okay, and then I think I'm going to grab that one. Just going to grab that one there. It's more or less dry. I just want to make, I don't know why, I just like for the biggest flowers to have the second biggest one. So oh, I can feel that it is still wet, so bear with me if it all falls to pieces at this stage. So just bringing that through there. So that's a really full poinsettia, isn't it? Beautiful. Okay, so once it dries, having got it wet and then moulded it, it will stay like that. And that's one of the beauties of doing them like that, that it will stay. Now, just to sort of make sure that this does stay here, I'm just going to put a little bit of my wet glue, my hot glue behind it, just to give that chance to set, because I'm going to cut that off in a minute. So I'm just going to put it into a card, because it would be wrong, would it not, to not show you how to do a quick card with it. So I have got a 6x6 craft card. So I did very similar to what I did yesterday, but a quick one. I then have got the same sort of combination here. So we've gone for coconut white, and I've done that at just 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way round. So I'm going to pop that down and into place so that we've got a bit of a border going on all the way round. Then I've used a piece of matte or satin vintage gold. I just felt that to go mirror card was just a little bit much on here. It was a bit too shiny. Now that one is just a fraction smaller, so either 1/8 of an inch, or depending on how you're measuring it, or just 2.5 centimetres, 2.5. No, get that right. It's a quarter. It's 2.5. Right. Now then, I just want to do something with this one. This one is an embossing folder from Nellie Snellen, which is called Writing Obvious. Doesn't say anything at all, but I think it's just going to go lovely on top of there. But before I do that, I just want to go over with my antique linen on it. Now, I'm going to find myself a blending brush, preferably one that's quite new, which this one is, a nice little one. I'm going to pick up some of this, and I'm just going to go over my card. So I'm just taking it from side to side, and it's going to pick up the words a little bit more, just make them a little bit more defined. And because I'm using the same colour as it all the time, it's not going to take away from it. It's going to hopefully enhance it instead. So I'm just going to define those a little bit. You could use, I've used also for a workshop, I've used Glitter Kiss, which is nice, gives it some sparkle, but I didn't want to do sparkly today. Didn't want to do sparkly. So that just gives it a little hint of a colour and takes some of the starkness away, perhaps, from there. So then I'm just going to pop this down, like so, and then just pop that into place. And I've given that a wider border because I wanted that to show a bit more. Okay, then I've taken myself a Southey Square. Very pretty. I like that with all the little dots and whatever on there. Just right for this. Just right for a background without being too ornate. Just pop that there. Now, so there's my background all ready to go. Here's my now dried and whatever finished off. Just going to trim these excess bits of that. So, flung off somewhere. So that's all I've got rid of. That's all I've got rather left over from the excess, and I can keep on using that bit of wire for my next one. So I think that looks rather stunning there. I'm going to get some of my usual pieces, which I like to use for this. So a bit of greenery, but it's goldery. Yeah, something like that. So let's pop these in. Got a bit of glue stuck on there. Hold on a second. So really simple one. So the crucial things to remember on this is that you need a little sprayer, a little misty spray of water. You also need some card rather than paper. From my point of view, I think it's best that you've got something that's actually got a bit of stability to it, because paper, it's fine, but it's hard to work with, and if you're not used to working with it, you might find that a bit difficult to actually work with. I've got a couple of these as well, so we pop some of them on. A lot of people prefer to actually add these pieces to your work when you've finished doing it, but personally I like to give myself a base on which to put my flower. Ooh, stay stuck. So then I'm going to get my glue gun, put some more glue onto the back. Pop that into place, and I'm just going to press that down and hold that into place whilst it's just drying. So a very simple card with a beautiful, just love it. If you, I don't know, I mean, there isn't a thing on here that says Merry Christmas or anything like that, and I have to say, I think that you could get away without calling that a poinsettia, in all honesty. I don't think that you need to say that's a poinsettia. I think that that could be any flower. But there you go. So things I used today was the classic poinsettia from John Next Door. I've also used a bit of greenery there, and now I've just seen there's a little bit of card there. Can't be doing with leaving that in there, can we? That's better. But any greenery will be fine. I've used a Southey Square at the background, and I've used a Nellie Snellen writing 3D embossing folder, which I have used the colour Antique Linen of Distress Ink, but you could use any colour. So any colour would look fine, and that would just determine what background that you would like to use. The other one I've used, as I said, was Bundled Sage, which is a greeny colour, and then I used the sage background for that as well, which looks lovely too. So again, if you did it in a different colour, you might find a different, this could be for a golden wedding even, but it could be for a different occasion altogether. So thank you very much for your response yesterday, saying how much you enjoyed the card and how much you wanted to see how to make this poinsettia. Hope you've enjoyed making the poinsettia. And I will see you again tomorrow with today's real video, if you see what I mean. Just two more to go. I'm so pleased that you're enjoying them, and I hope you're enjoying them as much as I have enjoyed making them for you. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.